Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our IndyCar career mode here on the channel. Hope you're all having a great day today. We're on the roads of Road America, fresh off of back-to-back oval races with the Indy 500 and last episode in Phoenix where Colton Herta picked up his first points win of the season and now is just 7 points behind current point leader Rinus VeeKay, of course, who picked up the Indianapolis 500 victory. We have been on a big forward movement here of good finishes, running in the top 10, top 5 as well, and that has allowed us to get up into 5th place in the standings coming into this Road America race. And you know, it took us a few races to kind of find our place, but we have really gotten this Meyer Shank machine in good position, looking of course towards about the quarter-way point of this season, closing in towards the halfway point. And we've got that first top 10 in Barber, and then we have been in the top 10 ever since. In the Indy 500, a great effort, and at Phoenix, a great effort as well. So here in practice in Road America, just getting used to the track, and of course this is a track that I've got a decent experience level at just because of the NASCAR background, of course, in the times that they have raced here in Xfinity and Cup Series cars as well. I apologize, it's been so long since the last IndyCar episode. I had a rough week. I was sick, I got better, I got sick again. It was a disaster, but we're finally back to normal and we can focus in on the regularly scheduled programming. But Colton Herta, fresh off that first win of the season, looking to go back-to-back here and get to the point lead today. Last episode we saw runner-up Scott Dixon there in Phoenix, a great season so far for him, but who it's not been a good season for, that guy, Josef Newgarden. I mean, I don't know what's been going on with him. He called us out last episode. He had a great run in Indy, but the rest of the season just has not been pretty. He crashed out early after qualifying well in Phoenix as well, and he wasn't looking so hot coming into this weekend with momentum-wise, I should say. So we'll see what he can do as we focus in on qualifying. I'm going to show you guys my fastest lap in qualifying overall here. My first lap only put me P19. It was not very hot. I was looking for a really around the top 10. You know, we've gained a lot of confidence here, and I was hoping that we could, you know, carry that over into now the road courses once again after really 2 good ovals. But we have proven that we can run well on the road courses as well. You really got to hustle the car around here, but you as well. Road America is a track that will punish you for trying to take a little bit too much. There's always that grass to run off into or the gravel that's nearby as well, and you of course don't want to get into that gravel, but just getting in the grass, of course, it's so hard to get out of it. Here in iRacing, you just slide right off and continue on. So you got to be really careful. Don't overstep your boundaries, but I mean that goes for every racetrack just about now. As you're going to see myself have a bit of a moment through this penultimate corner right here. Yep, we save it, we keep it going, and if you look at the bottom right of the dash on the steering wheel, we have gained some time, and you can see, I mean, on the exit of the final turn, I mean, a huge gain, 0.6 of a second nearly. It's going to be close as we head to the line. What's it going to be from P19, and it's going to put us P9 on the grid. Grosjean on pole. Big surprises here. Josef Newgarden qualifies dead last. Marcus Armstrong down the order. Scott Dixon, Rinus VeeKay, McLaughlin as well. Palou in the midfield, but some surprise names in the back and some surprise names up front.
Gary Owen, it's James Hinchcliffe up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. I got you, James.
You're turning this into a hell of a rookie campaign so far. How's the confidence, and what has been the recipe for your success so far?
I mean, a great team around me. They understand I'm a rookie, and they've been providing, I mean, great support. My engineer has been great, and they've been patient as well, and I think patience is the big thing.
All right, good luck today. I want to see another Canadian win a race here.
We're ready to roll here in Road America, and we'll keep an eye on how Owen progresses throughout the day. James, is he a contender here?
I think so, Lee, but he needs to attack quickly. I know HJR is a front row lockout, but I don't think they have the best race pace. That can help Owen if they stack up the field.
Indy 500 winner and point leader Rinus VeeKay starting in the midfield. What can he do as last week winner Colton Herta looks to take over?
And we're racing here from Road America. 25 laps in the front row is led by Grosjean and his JHR teammate Canapino as they head down into turn 1. Colton Herta enters P2 in the standings, defending race winner, now trying to make a move for second place. Now the fuel situation for this race a little bit different than previous episodes. We are trying a little bit something new here, where actually we're gonna have to do 2 pit stops today. On a tank of fuel you can go a maximum of about 10 laps. So it's going to be a 2-stop race here. Now you could go 10 laps, 5 laps. You could maybe go 10 laps, 7 laps. There's a lot of, variable strategy opportunities here. Herta going to go through in a second already. Now you can see Will Power, a good start there for the Penske driver who's had a rough season. And now here we are now up the inside of David Malukas. Will go wheel to wheel with Lil Dave. Of course, lost his ride, unfortunately, IRL with the McLaren team. But like I said last episode, what happened there in real life is not going to affect what happens here at this current storyline in the career mode, as it kind of takes its own path. Of course, we know new teams on the way coming in IndyCar next season. We just announced Lamborghini coming into the sport now through the long sweeping carousel. There goes Marcus Ericsson. Catches me a little bit off guard. He's able to slip through and pass me in that Andretti Global machine. So now we drop back a position. So kicking off lap 2 of this Grand Prix, and I'm under pressure right now. Grosjean continues to lead over Colton Herta, but now there's Kyle Kirkwood. He's going to slip up the inside as well, and there's another spot loss as we drop a few in these opening laps. That'll put us down to 10th position. Alex Palou just behind the defending champ and Indy Road Course winner from real life, and as well in this career mode here as we come to the end of these first couple laps now, as we come down through towards turn number 3. And look at this slow exit right there from Marcus Ericsson, and that's my opportunity to go back up the inside but clear him on the apex. Thank you very much. We'll take the position. In the background, Palou's battling with Pietro Fittipaldi. You got Pato Award just behind. Fellow rookie in the background there, Kevin Simpson going at it with Rasmussen, my teammate of Rosenquist just behind. Graham Rahal losing the spot to his teammate of Christian Lundgaard now. As you can see, Scott Dixon, Josef Newgarden, Marcus Armstrong, that is, all having really poor days here in Road America. What is going on with those guys? I mean, Newgarden, unfortunately, it's been a history of rough luck this season. He's had speed and not the luck to show, but this time around here in Road America, he's just lacking pace, and we're just not seeing anything out of him. So very unfortunate there as we continue to focus forward now. Lap 4 at this point, running P9 after getting that passed on Ericsson, and now we're actually reeling in Kyle Kirkwood. So we got passed by Kirkwood early, but we're pulling him back in as these laps go on here now, as this is really the part where I'm losing the most time. This long sweeping right-hand carousel, really hard for me to keep up with the AI here now as Grosjean continues to lead the way. Colton Herta just behind Herta on the red stripe alternates, Power in P3. How about Jack Harvey with a great run in 4th as Canapino continues to fade backwards here now, as you see David Malukas having a good run. Malukas with 1 win on this season back in Long Beach, but we have now, to start lap 5, closed up right to the back of Kyle Kirkwood, and our continuous run of consistency in these top 10s continue here in the Road America now, just over 20 laps to go, and here we go to the back of Kirkwood. We have yet to use any of our push to passes. Of course, in IndyCar, a push to pass is a time thing. You get, 200 seconds of push to pass. In iRacing, it's just a amount. You get 10 of them to use throughout the Grand Prix, as now you can see Kirkwood was actually able to cross me over and say, hold on, you might be able to complete the pass, but I'm gonna do it right back to you. So now we would have to follow him for the rest of the lap before I finally got an opportunity to go for it again here. Starting now lap 6, and he defends to the right. He's on the red striped alternates. We're on the black stripe primaries now, as we're going to try and go around the outside through turn 1. Kirkwood now going to make it easy now as we go a little bit wide on the exit of the first turn. We continue wheel to wheel into turn number 2. Great battles around this circuit. Kirkwood gets ahead. I like a little bit of confidence on the exit, but down the long straightaway again, here's the opportunity, and I learned my lesson from last time around. Make sure he cannot switch me back and go to the inside. He outbreaks us here into the corner on the apex. He's ahead now, but a poor exit, but I washed out a little bit wide myself, so nearly into the side of Kirkwood. A great battle as these black striped black wall primaries seem to really be taking over as these laps go on. Still wheel to wheel, and the fact that we haven't run into each other is quite impressive, as hopefully right here on the apex we can get the job done, as we still know not quite complete. There it is, clear for position. Into 8th place we go now, as you can see towards the end of the lap, Alex Palou going to be the first one to come into the pits here on the red striped alternate. So it'll be interesting to see with a 2-stop race what's going to be the situation here. Is it going to be 2 sets of black wall primaries and 1 alternates? Is it going to be 2 alternates and 1 black wall primary? My strategy is we're going to be putting on another set of black wall primary tires and then finishing the race on the red striped alternates now, as we have run down Santino Ferrucci here for P7, and you can tell those alternates really struggling to keep the pace as these laps go on, and that was what made my decision easy to keep the black wall going on to the next stop, is because you can just tell that the drivers right now that are on their alternates, they're really falling off, and it only took about 4-5 laps or so here. Of course, the laps around this Road America circuit so long. It takes nearly 2 minutes to come around here, even in a really quick IndyCar with all the downforce it has. So it's a lengthy lap, but we continue to close in on the cars in front now, and we're P7 behind P6 and Malukas, but here comes the leaders, Grosjean, Herta, Power, as well as Jack Harvey having a great day. They all come in, but the 3 behind, including myself, stay out. Canapino now under attack from David Malukas, as I'm going to be boxed in right here. Not really much of an opportunity to do much, so I'm just going to follow Malukas in that McLaren, but we got a little bit wide on turns 1 apex here. As you can see, Grosjean will win the race out of the pit lane, so he will be the leader once everything cycles through. No positions change there, as Pelot's heading now up towards the start finish, but it will be Grosjean back out in front once this all cycles through, as now we make a move on Canapino here. We'll take the position, and that will put us into currently P2, of course a net P6 that will be, as now he's going to go for the little crossover. We saw it from Kirkwood. I didn't think he was going to have the opportunity, but we clear him. A poor exit for him and a poor exit for David Malukas. Now up the inside of Malukas here into the left-hander, but he's just barely able to stay ahead there. Got that power down a little bit better than myself, so we trail behind him all the way towards the run of up towards Canada Corner. Of course, I guess we could call it my home corner here on lap 8, and now we'll be able to get past Malukas. He fights back, gets even at the apex now, so we continue wheel to wheel, but we clear him on the exit. So now I decide, okay, we could run this another lap, so we're going to do that. We can do about 10 laps total, and looking in my mirror, a bunch of cars are coming in right now, so we're pretty well a lone wolf out here. There is a few cars staying out, but you can see on the bottom right 1.5 laps of fuel.
Okay, we'll play it safe on fuel. Pit this lap.
And they hear that, so we will be boxing this lap. We could stretch it out 1 lap further, but yeah, just really not worth the risk in this current time. As you can see, as I round the final turn, it's about 1.1 laps of fuel, so it would be really close trying to stretch it another lap. I might have to bank it down a couple of corners, but yeah, we're just not going to risk it. So we're going to come in. Nobody else is going to risk it either. Everybody into the pit. So Grosjean, Herta, they will cycle out here into the top few positions as we get into our pit box. So like I said, we're going to put on another set of the black wall primaries. Our second and final stop will be switching over to that alternate red stripe tire, which will have more grip, better stopping power, etc. Just a quicker tire overall. So we're going to exit here. You can see as we do that, Grosjean just barely in front of Herta, power lacking a little bit further back in third, and Jack Harvey's really fallen off over Ferrucci and then myself. So we exit in a net P6. Where's Malukas? There he is right there. He passes Marcus Ericsson, and then you got Pelot going past Fittipaldi, as well as Kyle Kirkwood right there in the mix. So now we can settle back in. We're not even halfway through this Grand Prix yet here from Road America, a track where things can get quite spread out and uneventful, to say the least here now. But as I was spending the time getting these tires warmed up, David Malukas was having a field day. By the end of the lap, he had run me down. You can see in my rear view mirrors, he is all over the back of us at this point now. So it's that first lap after pitting, it's all about getting those tires, of course, up to an operating temperature window to be able to maximize the performance. But I would get them up to temperature, but to my surprise, Malukas is continuing to put some pressure on us here now, and as we come through that carousel where we've been kind of struggling all weekend, Malukas up the inside, I dip the left sides into the grass a little bit now. We try to keep it side by side, but to back out here into the right-hander, very unintelligent to keep it side by side through there, unless it's a late race move of desperation now, as the lights are on the pace car and the caution's gonna fly.
Okay, yellow's out. It's for debris.
Of course it is. A yellow out for debris. Nobody is going to pit here because we cannot make it to the end if we pitted here. So very straightforward. Everyone's going to stay out and just rack them, stack them, and we'll get ready to go back racing here in a few moments time. But P7 now is where we'll line up. We got Ericsson, we got Canapino, Kirkwood, Palou, Fittipaldi, the closest cars behind us, then our teammate as well of Felix Rosenqvist, Award 14th, Rasmussen 15th, Rossi, McLaughlin, Dixon, Kiffin, Simpson there through 19th, Newgarden, Armstrong. They all continue to struggle, but who's not struggling is Roman Grosjean, who leads the field back to the green. Now he continues to seek that first IndyCar win. You see cars weaving now as Grosjean will try to break out of that slipstream from Herta. It's not going to quite work here as we all come through turn 1. And Will Power, he's in P3. It's not been the ideal season so far for him. Can he bounce back here today, and can the Australian find top step of the podium here now? As you can see some battles in the background. There's Newgarden actually going through on Stingray Robb and that number 41. Marcus Armstrong going to try and follow through as well. You got Linus Lundqvist back here not running so hot either, so just a rough day for some drivers here. Now on Graham Rahal, Newgarden going to go through on him. Another position gain for what's been a very miserable day, and now Armstrong going to try and follow through as well as more battles continue side by side. Rasmussen now on Pato Award in that McLaren Arrow. Who's going to come out on top of this battle? Dixon going at it with McLaughlin, another driver who's had a rough season. Award stays ahead, and McLaughlin stays ahead of Dixon. Focusing back on us, we run P7 just behind Malukas. Now, we have spent quite a bit of time this season, it feels like, around David Malukas. Think about the battles in Long Beach. As actually, I have a bit of a moment I wash wide and then have a bit of a moment of oversteer as well, and that allows Ericsson and Canapino to slip through. So now we drop back 2 positions. That will relegate us down into the 9th spot here as we come towards the tail end of this lap, and now we were under pressure from Alex Palou, and there you see another bit of a moment there in the final turn as I'm starting to struggle a little bit here with the handling of this car and actually use one of my push-to-passes to try and stay ahead, but Palou has a push-to-pass and slipstream. That gets him alongside me in turn 1. We make it not too easy on him now, of course, defending champion. We're going to race this guy hard. You can see in the background my teammate Rosenqvist has gotten through on Pato Award now as we continue to struggle. Now Palou gets through, and Kyle Kirkwood as well, wheel to wheel with myself down this long back straightaway here. And as we approach the final 10 laps, if we come in at the end of this lap, we can make it to about the end of this Grand Prix, so the pit window will be open. But now Felix Rosenqvist right here with me as we exit the left-hander. He's under attack from Award. Great battles here in this race. Unfortunately, we're going the wrong direction, and it wasn't over again through the long sweeping carousel. Really struggling, and here comes Rosenqvist up the inside as well, as now he was a former point leader on the season. He's dropped down to 4th coming into this race, but he gets through as well, takes a position as now we just continue to struggle, and that puts us outside of the top 10. Again, the final turn, another mistake, and here comes Rasmussen. I'll be forced into using one of the poster passes to try and stay out ahead, and fortunately we can at least do that, but we have just, I've run into some issues here.
What's the issue right now?
I have no idea, my guy. It just, the confidence under braking, it just seems to be gone. Understeering like crazy. You hear myself, and yeah, just lacking confidence suddenly under the braking, as well as I felt like I was understeering. That was pretty evident with the few moments we've already had, especially in the carousel. Nothing about this car has changed. I haven't hit anything. There's no wing damage, but you can see, there's clearly something going on now. As you can see, we're really being held up all of a sudden. Alex Palou really struggling on pace, and that's allowed Kirkwood, Rosenqvist, myself right back into the mix here. A top 10 still very much on the cards here, but clearly we just don't have the pace we need. 9 laps to go at this point now. Kirkwood loses a position right there to Rosenqvist, and I'm going to try and go around the outside. So Rosenqvist moves through, and I just can't quite get it there done on Kirkwood around the outside. In the background, Fittipaldi continuing to put together a very respectable effort and running in front of the pair of McLarens of Award as well as Rossi. Newgarden, continuing to struggle. He's actually now lost positions here as we continue this battle right now. Kirkwood now going up the inside of Rosenqvist. I'm going to play it safe right here, just let things play out and see who gets to run off this corner, who doesn't, and unfortunately, Palou slows up in front of Rosenqvist. Kirkwood goes through and gets 2 spots, and now I go up the inside of my teammate. We'll pass him back. That will move us up into P11, and now P10 right here on the cards with Palou, a struggling Alex Palou, now the defending champ, just going the wrong direction here. Up the inside we go, and he's on the black stripe, or the black wall primaries as well, and we have seen that tire kind of be the tire that prevails, but clearly not working for Palou. As we go off track, we understeer into the grass, into the gravel, and we lose several positions. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on here. we continue, and now it's just, okay, we need to do something, and that plan is going to be pitting at the end of this lap. Pit immediately. As you can see, again, I mean, I lock up the right front. We understeer off the track right there. Cars as well pitting at the end of this lap is going to include the leaders. Grosjean. Power has moved into second place, by the way. Herta down to third, but Herta is going to go for that overshoot, the overcut for the strategy here, so we'll see if that works. But we're going to come into the pits as well, because clearly we need to try something different, because the car right now is just handling like trash, and we're going to come in and put on that red stripe alternate and just try to put together a really good final 7 or so laps of this Grand Prix. Now, I would make my pit stop, but I was all on my own for a lap. So now fast forwarding a lap, Colton Herta had made his pit stop, and look at this. He comes out in front of the 2 drivers that were in front of him. He goes to the lead now as he tries to defend his race win from last episode. Grosjean P2, Power down to third here, and it might not be over for Roman Grosjean towards the end of the straightaway. Now here comes Grosjean under fire from Power into the left-hander, and Will Power is going to move through into the second position, and he is not quite clear yet. They continue side by side, but I think the job's about to be done. Let's see what happens here now. Yes, it is. Power through into second, as like I said, I was all on my own at this point, just waiting for this pit cycle to kind of run its course, and just running the quickest lap times that I possibly could, of course, to put myself into a decent position here, but I'm still confident we can get a good result. We're putting good laps together, and drivers that are going to be just making their pit stops, which is now happening in front of us, they're going to be struggling on cold tires, so hopefully we can, you know, pounce on that opportunity. And we breeze by Scott Dixon, and we have actually run down Alex Palou after his pit stop, so he is struggling continuously, and we are all over the back of him. He's on a Blackwall primary tire once again here, so we're going to dive one up the inside. We'll take the position from him, but it's hard to tell where we're going to cycle out. But I was pretty happy with my laps. We passed Kiffin Simpson, who's just exiting the pits now through turn number 1. We'll breeze past Pietro Fittipaldi, so clearly, somehow, I really don't know how it's happened, but we have gained back the majority of the time that we have lost, so we can still get a potential top 10 out of this Grand Prix, which would be quite impressive here. But let's wait a little bit longer to see what happens now. As you can see, that whole group of cars there in front of us, that's a group that of course we want to run down, and here we actually have Grosjean under pressure from Malukas into turn 1, and now Grosjean goes from dominance to 4th place. David Malukas into 3rd. What a drive for Colton Herta, who's now in the lead and running away. We continue to gain positions, and you can see as we roll through turn 1 to the back of Pato O'Ward, so we know for sure now, this confirms we're in the discussion for a top 10 again. Here's Christian Rasmussen. We'll go around the outside of him. He's struggling on cold tires, and we all breeze around him together. We use the push to pass. We get to the back of O'Ward, and we swing onto the left side of him, and we'll breeze past him as well. And then we got Kyle Kirkwood. I see my teammate right there of Rosenquist. We dive deep into the braking zone, nearly a little bit too far, but we keep it clean and fortunately don't run into the back of Kyle Kirkwood. But now 5 laps to go. It's time to get aggressive wheel to wheel into the sharp right bend. Contact free, but Kirkwood backed out of it, and O'Ward goes through, as now we continue that kind of rookie aggression here, and this would move us into the top 10, but mistakes continue to come here in this track. I mean, I just still struggling with the handling now. Rosenquist driving away in 9th, and now we're under attack from Pato O'Ward. He'll go around the outside, but this battle is far from over. We know we got the pace. We stayed just in front of Christian Rasmussen, and now on the run towards the Canada corner, we're going to hopefully be able to get this position back from Pato O'Ward. Yes, we will, and actually Rasmussen might have a chance to make a move. No, he won't, because O'Ward dives it around the outside and stays ahead. Stays wheel to wheel with us. Contact there, wheel to wheel with the McLaren driver now as we continue to stay in it, and we get back ahead of him now as he nearly had contact in the background with Rasmussen as we approach the final couple of laps in this race. Herta, there you see the gap visually over Will Power. Malukas. Grosjean continues to fade backwards now. Ericsson going for an overtake here on Jack Harvey into turn 1 complete. Ericsson having a solid top 10 day here in Road America. We continue to try and put a gap on a Ward, who's under pressure from Pietro Fittipaldi. My teammate, unfortunately, Rosenqvist, was now 5 seconds up the road just because of the battles and the mistakes I had made, and Fittipaldi would get through on a Ward, so he would move up into the 11th position as we approach 2 laps to go here from Road America. Now, are we going to come under pressure from Fittipaldi now? A decent exit out of the final turn, but not quite good enough, using the push to pass to make sure I'm staying ahead there. Now, as you can see, Power is gaining on Herta, but I think he's going to run out of time now, of course, with just 2 laps remaining. Now, as we continue to manage about a 1-second gap on Fittipaldi, but I have struggled so hard in these final, really half the race, so it's just not been pretty now as we head down towards Canada corner, and another lockup on the right front and wide we go into the gravel. Here comes Fittipaldi to the right side, knocking us out of the top 10. We have had a mistake-filled final half of this Grand Prix, and now we've lost that top 10 spot for the second time today. Can we rally back on this final lap? Will, of course, drain that push to pass, and here we go, white flag in the air, and with that push to pass, a big run on the back of Fittipaldi, and we'll pass him into turn number 1. Colton Herta in command over Will Power. I don't think Will Power is going to have anything for him now as we get back ahead and try to just now hang on to that 10th position. Just try to not lose anything here before this race comes to a close, as now we come through the left-hander at the end of that long straightaway. That was really the only straightaway I was concerned about, and of course the right-hand carousel, just getting through their head is the big thing now. As you can see, sure enough, Fittipaldi closes in, but we use the push to pass to make sure we can stay just ahead, and that is really all it's going to take now to just be in command for the rest of this final lap to maintain a top 10 result and continue that top 10 streak as well. Rosenqvist would get past Canapino and move himself into the 8th position, but it's all Colton Herta as we have a bit of a slide there, but Colton Herta defends over Will Power, and for the second race in a row, he is going to go from getting that win last episode in Phoenix for the first time this season, now back-to-back with a win for the second time this year in Road America. Herta will go to the top of the point standings with that win. You can see Malukas was under fire from Ferrucci at the end, and we hang on over Fittipaldi to get that 10th position.
That was terrible, guys. I drove so bad. I don't know what happened there in the final half, but just no confidence.
All good, man. Top 10 after all that is a great day.
Overall, not happy with my performance here now. As you'll see the finishing order, your podium, of course, Herta, Power, Malukas, and Ferrucci Grosjean the top 5, Jack Carvey, Rosenqvist as well, and myself, Canapino, all in the top 10. But of course, big rough days. Kyle Kirkwood in the mid-teens, McLaughlin as well, Armstrong, Dixon down in 19th, Newgarden 20th. Just terrible days for those guys. Lundgaard, Rinus VK as well, all with really rough days. Alex Palou as well. Nothing went wrong. I looked at the replay. He was just slow. He just dropped down the order, and we look at the points now. Colton Herta to the top of the standings, 34 points ahead of Rinus VK. Rosenqvist 48 back, and we are actually tied with Scott Dixon for 4th. What a season it has been for us. Malukas, of course, there in P6 as you look down the rest of the order, but Newgarden is all the way down in 23rd place. It's been absolutely miserable for him, and really just not been great for Penske. Power being the best there in the 8th position, Palou 9th, Ferrucci 10th. That's going to wrap it up for me. Next episode, we head to Laguna Seca, the former season finale for IndyCar, no longer, as we'll be there in the mid-season. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.